The other thing about panels is how durable are they? This is a thing which is supposed to last 20 to 25 years. It is, in fact, a piece of solid state electronic material.
What does it mean to say that it's a solid state electronic material?
It has no moving parts.
Ah, okay.
By law in California, every panel that's sold that's going to collect the incentive, which means basically every panel sold, is necessarily warranted by the manufacturer. Irregardless of who installed it, it's by law warranted by the manufacturer to function and to not degrade higher than a very low rate, 0.5% a year or something. So in principle, any panel you buy is warranted, and no matter what the installer is or the distributor is, you should be able to go to the manufacturer. In practice, the issue is, can you find the manufacturer again? There's an enormous number of manufacturers.
Why is that an issue? I mean, where are most of these manufacturers?
Well, many of the lowest cost manufacturers are in China. Many of them are factories that are making it for some nationally, internationally known company. So if you're buying it from, Kyocera or something, there's a company that you can go to, regardless of who actually made the panel. If you buy some no-name panel that somebody's selling off the back of a truck for less than anybody else per watt,
right,
it was probably made in a factory with no name.
Right.
And if you ever try to pursue the manufacturer, you may find that you can't find them anymore.
Right.
This is what happened to the people who bought drywall from China, and then it turned out to be contaminated with sulfur and acetic, and they went and tried to sue somebody, and there's no evidence that the company who sold it ever existed.
Right.
The worst case is, in some cases, unethical contract manufacturers will take the rejects that their clients QA rejected, put the name of some company on them, and sell them. So it matters who the company backing the panels is.
Right.
If you trust the manufacturer and the panel is rated at a certain wattage and you're buying so much capacity, it doesn't matter how many panels, but you're buying a certain capacity, you should be able to be made whole regardless of what happens to an individual panel. The best companies will warranty the best distributors and manufacturers that are selling these will warranty the replacement as well as the panel itself.
Okay, but I'm kind of hearing two contradictory messages here. On the one hand, I'm hearing it's a commodity, anything will do. On the other hand, I'm hearing you've got to have confidence in the manufacturer. So it sounds like what you're essentially saying. It sounds like what you're essentially saying is there's a threshold. As long as you're above the threshold, as long as you're working with a certain subset of solar panel manufacturers who are warranting their product for 20 or 25 years, and you have confidence that Company A and Company B are both going to be around to service your warranty, that's really the end of the consideration. At that point, what you're really asking yourself is the question is, how much am I paying per installed DC watt?
Yeah.
And that's basically the final bottom line number. How much am I paying for installed DC watt?
Yeah, and the reason you can do that is that basically all inverters are very high efficiency. They're at 97% efficiency.
Right.
So the ratio between DC watts and AC kilowatt hours delivered at the end is pretty much the same. The other considerations, and as you say, I think threshold is a good way to say it.
Yeah.
As long as you trust who made it, one panel may be more efficient than another. It may mean you need a different number of panels. That really only matters if space is a major constraint.
So in other words, if you have enough room, you should always be buying the least efficient panels that you can, because that'll be the best price per watt.
No, not necessarily, because the marginal cost of putting a bigger racking on will impact a low efficiency system, but the pricing automatically adjusts in the market to more or less match that. So for any given installation, you'll find some range of possibilities. A lower efficiency panel might be only slightly cheaper, but it might require more racking. The racking cost might offset the cost. At that level, you're getting into the sort of second order effects, and it really has to be examined on a case-by-case basis.
So in other words, attempting to simplify this is really inviting the client to make some pretty poor and uninformed decisions.
Well, I think bidding something like this strictly on a cost per watt is a little too unsophisticated. Because there is the question of the quality of installation.
Mm-hmm.
There's the question of if it's a roof mount, that the quality of the installation takes into account how the roof is currently sheathed and uses one of the advanced mounting methods that fixes something to a roof without damaging the watertight integrity of the roof. A great deal of effort has been put in by very mundane companies that just make little sealing things for roofs,
Mm-hmm.
that they can now make something where you can reliably attach something to a roof and not damage the watertight integrity. If people ask, what's the chance that this panel's going to die on me? Chances are very low. We've certainly never had to replace a panel.
Right.
So of all the panels we've installed, one has never failed in service. If you ask, what's the chances that the guys who go up on the roof really know nothing and do something wrong and don't correctly seal the roof? That happened lots of times in the past. It happened enough times to give a bad reputation.
In fact, we've been called into jobs where that's exactly what happened, and we had to tear off what was done before and replace it and fix it. And
So
what you're saying is the real criteria for evaluation of a solar installer is not, are they going to give me the absolute lowest possible price per watt? It's, are they giving me a competitive price per watt, and do I have confidence in their ability as a contractor to actually do this job
Yes.
and do it correctly the first time around?